For as long as I can remember, the United States and Canada have been really good friends. We might even call them best friends. But that is beginning to change. The United States government is starting to charge tariffs to Canadian products coming in. We will talk about what tariffs are and these things too. You will learn what top of mind means. You will learn the verb reiterated. We'll talk about fentanyl. We will talk about the difference between stressed and stressed out. We'll talk about two ways we use tackle. We'll talk about what a counterpart is. And of course, we will have to talk about some English phrasal verbs like count on and pull together, stand together, and this one from Bob the Canadian that has me a little worried, elbows up. If that sounds interesting to you, let's watch the first clip together, and then I will come back and teach some English.
I want to address what I know is top of mind for all Canadians. Yesterday, I spoke with President Trump, and I reiterated the facts. Our border is secure, and less than 1% of the illegal fentanyl entering the United States comes from Canada.
For each of the terms, I will have a picture, I will have the official definition, and I will use it in a sentence. I think Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is one of the best communicators in politics. Watching him can really improve your English. And he uses this term, top of mind, and I thought it might have given you trouble. It means something people are thinking about a lot. The new taxes on trade are top of mind for many businesses in Canada. He also uses the term reiterated. That means to say something again to make it clear. President Trump reiterated that he wants higher taxes on Canadian products. This might be a really good time to ask you to hit the like button if this is helping your English improve. If this is your first time here, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. That way you will never miss another English lesson. And if you really like this lesson and want to support the channel, you can become a channel member. That way you will get a bonus lesson each week. Now let's look at the next clip.
I want to address what I know is top of mind for all Canadians. Yesterday, I spoke with President Trump, and I reiterated the facts. Our border is secure, and less than 1% of the illegal fentanyl entering the United States comes from Canada. Even so, we took action with our $1.3 billion plan to further strengthen our border.
Border. Just in case you didn't know what a border was, I wanted to talk about it. It's the line between two countries, and the United States and Canada share a really long border. Here is a sentence using border. The US-Canadian border is important for trade between the two countries. Secure, and here we are going to use it as a verb. It means to make something safe. Both countries want to secure their border to stop illegal trade. You can also use it as an adjective. We want the US and Canada to have a secure border. Fentanyl, super dangerous stuff. It is a very strong drug that is sometimes used illegally. The US is worried that fentanyl is coming across the border from Canada. Now, according to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, less than 1% of the fentanyl comes through our northern border. In the United States, the border between Canada and the US, we call it the northern border, and the southern border is the border between US and Mexico.
I also stressed that the tariffs the US administration chose to impose will hurt American workers and businesses, and that, as our shared history has proven, we should work together instead to tackle today's challenges rather than fighting one another.
We are going to use the verb stressed. You might know the noun. If you have stress, that means you might have too much work to do. But this here is a verb, and it means to say something is very important. Prime Minister Trudeau stressed that Canada wants fair trade with the US. Now, Prime Minister Trudeau never says he is stressed out. I don't think he ever says the Canadian people are stressed out, but I wanted to teach you this English phrasal verb. It just means feeling very worried. Many workers are stressed out because the trade war could hurt their jobs. Take a look at this couple. I don't know what they are stressed out about, but just in a couple weeks, Americans are going to have to file their taxes. That could stress anybody out.
I also stressed that the tariffs the U.S. administration chose to impose will hurt American workers and businesses, and that, as our shared history has proven, we should work together instead to tackle today's challenges rather than fighting one another.
Let's talk about the word tackle. Sometimes we use it like it's used in the picture. So, yes, this is American football. In the United States, we just call it football. And it looks like two players are trying to tackle the other player who has the ball. That is perfectly legal in football as long as the player has the ball. But Trudeau used it in a different way. He used it like this to try to fix a problem. Now, it looks like this person is having car trouble, and it looks like they are going to have to tackle it in some way. I would have no idea how to tackle this problem. Hopefully, the guy in the picture does know how. Please let me know in the comments. Can you fix cars really well? If you can, I would like to be your friend. Car trouble can be such an expensive problem to tackle.
Canada's ministers, officials, and I will continue to engage with our American counterparts. Our goal remains to get these tariffs, all tariffs, removed. In the meantime, we'll be taking action to support Canadians through the tough times ahead.
Counterpart or counterparts, let's talk about who they are. People in different places who have the same job. Prime Minister Trudeau spoke with his counterpart, President Trump. Now, I don't know how much longer Prime Minister Trudeau will be leading the Canadian government, but his days are numbered. In other words, we know he will be leaving that position very soon. Someone else will come in and take over. Okay, this whole English lesson has been about tariffs, so let's make sure you know what they are. Extra money people must pay to bring goods from one country to another. And let's just make sure you know that term, goods. Now, I hope this is a good English lesson, but goods are just things that people buy. Same word, two very different definitions. I'm sorry, English can be very confusing sometimes. A lot of Canadian goods come over the border. Let's use it in a sentence. The US put tariffs on Canadian steel, making it more expensive. And I think the idea is if Canadian steel is more expensive, Americans will buy American steel.
In the meantime, we'll be taking action to support Canadians through the tough times ahead. You can count on leadership right across the country, municipalities, provinces, and indeed, your federal government. But mostly, you can continue to count on each other. Canadians have been there for each other, for small businesses, for local producers, for friends. Canadians will pull together and continue to pull together with deep, deep pride in country as all of us stand together to defend Canada.
Now, let's first talk about the verb count. In the picture, Somebody is counting on their fingers, like 1, 2, 3. You can count numbers. But when we use the English phrasal verb count on, it totally changes the meaning. It means to depend on someone or something. If you are married, hopefully you can count on your spouse. If you have a good friend, hopefully you can count on them if you ever get into trouble. Canadian businesses count on good trade with the US to make money. Pull together. What does that mean? It means to work as a team. People in Canada are pulling together to help businesses hurt by the tariffs. Pull together and stand together are slightly different. Let's talk about how they are different. Stand together means to support each other. The workers stand together in hopes of getting better pay. You can see these people are lined up. Maybe they are saying, "We are not going to work until we get more money." They are standing together, and yes, they are also pulling together too. Now, this last one does not appear in the newscast at all. I was talking with my good friend Bob the Canadian. Maybe you know him, or at least I thought he was my good friend. I hope this argument between our two governments doesn't hurt our friendship. We are supposed to meet together this summer and film some English lessons. But when I texted him asking him about the tariffs, he said, "In your next English lesson, maybe you should teach the term elbows up." I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what the English phrasal verb means. I just don't know why Bob the Canadian told me that. In the picture, that person is holding their elbow. The English phrasal verb means holding your elbows raised, usually to protect yourself or prepare for action. In boxing class, the coach told us to keep our elbows up to protect our faces. I hope this little argument between our two governments doesn't hurt our friendship. Maybe you should go to Bob the Canadian's channel and check on him. See how he's doing because of these tariffs. And please ask him to continue to be my friend. If you're looking for more news about Prime Minister Trudeau, I left an English lesson down there for you. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.